So my parents are from a small country in Latin America named Belize. The population of Belize is made up of the natives that live there, then the Europeans that came along, and the African slaves that they brought with them. Apparently, they all decided to have a big sex orgy, a big interracial sex orgy, and that's why I look the way I look. My parents decided to move from Belize to Brooklyn. My mom, my dad, and my mom's little brother. He was really strong. His name was Elroy. He was super athletic, and he was involved in martial arts. He was kicking people's asses all over the place. He was really good at gymnastics, and he won all types of awards. He was just a super strong badass. And eventually, my parents decided to have a baby, which was me. And they took me, my uncle, and my dad, obviously, my mom, decided to move to Long Island for a better life. So they brought Uncle Elroy along, and my mom and dad ended up having more children. There were four of us all together. My dad and my Uncle Elroy all living in the same house. And down in the basement at my parents' house, my uncle used to work out, and he'd show me and my little brothers how to work out. And he would chop bricks in half with his hands, and he would do like walking on his hands. He would do backflips and all types of crazy, awesome athletic feats. And like I said, he would show us and tell us to go and do the same thing now. So at 5 years old, I was pretty jacked, pretty strong, and in comparison to most of the other kids in my class, I was just different. I was strong, I was big, but I stood out, and the teachers and the children would always ask, Elliot, what are you? Some sort of like supernatural interracial beast. And in class, I had a lot of energy, and that was the other thing. Teachers would always tell me to sit down and shut up and stop being so energetic, so that they sent my mom and I to the school psychiatrist. The school psychiatrist told my mom that I had a disease called ADHD and that I needed medication. My mom was confused and upset. So they put me on medication, and I turned into a zombie. Cool thing was that when I went to middle school, I was very athletic, big, strong, more aggressive, and I played football. And I did really well, except that the coach told me that I was too stupid to play the position that I wanted to play, and I believed him. So I started hanging out with the other kids that were labeled as stupid, and we would do drugs and get into trouble and stuff like that. I did have one teacher, though, Miss Donahue, who actually did believe in me, and she let me do creative stuff in class. In high school, it wasn't much different. I started hanging out with gangs and kids that we'd rob people. We'd walk around with weapons and take people's money. But at the same time, I had met my girlfriend, now wife, Colleen. And Colleen and I fell in love. The only problem was that I was in the midst of being taken away in a police car because I got arrested. And it was because the kids that I was robbing other people with snitched on me, and they said that it was all Elliott's fault, and he was a gang leader and made us steal stuff from people. So I was in big trouble, but my uncle came over one day and he said, you know what, kid, you need to work out. So he started to show me how to use barbells this time, and I was about 14 years old, and we began squatting and doing bench presses and stuff, and I took to it real well. I fell in love, and my muscles grew and my self-esteem grew, and I started playing football, and because I was bigger and stronger naturally, plus combined with the barbells and stuff, I was kicking everybody's ass on the field. Plus, I was always grounded, so I started reading books, especially books on discovering who you are, philosophy and stuff like that. With my athletic ability, I earned an athletic scholarship to play football at St. John's University. So I went to go play football as an undersized defensive lineman, but because I was so much stronger and faster than the other kids, I ended up being the MVP of the team. I ran a 4.340, second fastest on the team, and did really well. It was about the same time that the internet started getting popular, and there was this thing called Napster, and me and my little brothers would listen to discourses by Alan Watts and Osho and read essays by Ralph Waldo Emerson. So I was feeling like I was somebody. I was learning, I was becoming who I was, and I was growing stronger. So things were going pretty well, and Colleen was still my girlfriend. I decided to go to graduate school because I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach, and I figured that I needed to get more education. The only problem was that in graduate school, I was labeled a dumb jock, and the other students didn't get along quite well with me. And I didn't get along with the professors because they were all weak, and I was used to learning from my super strong uncle. So I was like, fuck this, and I decided to leave graduate school. But I immersed myself in the reading of philosophy and poetry, lots of different books, and I met some friends that I could just smoke weed and kind of be lazy with. But that was about the same time that 9/11 happened, with the two airplanes crashing into the World Trade Center, and I got all upset and said I'm going to become a Marine, and I wanted to get some guns and shoot people. So I started working out and got really, really strong and passed all their tests, and they were like, man, you're going to be the best Marine ever. And I told my wife, told Colleen, that I wanted to marry her because I was going away. But then I got a call from the Marines, and were like, sorry kid, you got to wait longer because everybody wants to be a Marine right now. So I was stuck. I didn't know what to do. Should I get a job? Should I continue learning to be a trainer? Well, I decided to get a job as a trainer working for two guys named Bob and Johnny. And those guys were really, really smart at the science of strength, and they introduced me to Paul Chek. I started buying all of Paul Chek's audios and videos and watching them and studying like a madman. Then I took everything that I learned and started training athletes in New York and getting them bigger and stronger, and everything was going well, and Colleen got pregnant. I was a little shocked, but I was like, hey man, I could totally handle this. My parents moved to Florida, so we followed them from New York down to St. Petersburg, Florida. So we lived in my parents' house, Colleen, me, and Isabel, my youngest daughter. And I decided to get a job at a local personal training place, and I had the most clients at the gym. I had the best results. I was the top trainer, making the most money, and I thought I was so freaking cool that I decided to open my own business, except none of my clients wanted to come with me. So I was kind of shit out of luck with a new baby, and Colleen was pregnant again. So I was trying to figure out how I can get some clients. And I remember that internet thing was kind of taking off. So I decided that I'm going to figure out how to get clients through the internet. And I maxed out all my credit cards on courses and seminars and books on how to get clients online. And it worked. I had lots of clients, but I had no gym. And my car broke down and I had no money. So my dad gave me his big work van that he was no longer using, and I took it to go and pick up garbage and used training equipment that I used to work out people in the park, and I called it Strength Camp, and people gave me money, and it went pretty well for a little while. So I opened a little warehouse where I threw all of my used equipment and junkyard trash that we worked out with in there. But it was 2008, and the stock market crashed and real estate crashed, and all of my clients said, see you later, dude, we can't pay for training anymore, and you're out on your ass. But one thing I discovered is that even though people go broke, they still spend lots of money on their children. So I had lots of athletes, football players and stuff, that still came to my gym, and I trained them, and it was awesome, and I enjoyed doing it, so much so that I began recording their workouts with my little flip cam and putting them on YouTube so the parents could see just how awesome their kids were doing in class. So I put them on YouTube, and what did you know? Few people besides just the parents decided to watch it. I thought that was cool, and I got an idea. I said, why don't I make lots of videos and make DVDs of these and then sell workouts online? So I created a football strength training program that put a little bit of money in my pocket and kept my gym door open. And about the same time, I met a guy named Tom. He was a professional strongman. He had big tires and stones in his front yard. And I kept training with him and kept getting bigger and stronger. And our family was growing. So I was growing. Our family was growing. The only problem was we didn't have any money. And we were in massive amounts of debt. I didn't know what to do. So I started thinking long and hard, and I decided I want to get out of debt, but I also want to earn a living doing what I love by teaching people how to get stronger. So I went back to work on Strength Camp and kept recording all the workouts, and then I decided to start making DVDs and ebooks of the workouts. So things were going okay, and we got pregnant again. So I decided hustle mode, full steam ahead at this point. My plan was to become the biggest and strongest I possibly could, make more videos and make more ebooks. Everybody would see how big and strong and awesome I am because I'm a professional strongman, and they would buy my stuff and everything would be just fine, except I tore my bicep. Apparently, massive amount of steroids is not good for the body. And I went into deep depression. I was broke, injured, didn't know what to do with myself, and I started to think about what real strength was. And I came up with the idea that there were 4 layers of strength: physiological, physical, energetic, and presentable. And I call them the 4 layers, and they're all about becoming the strongest version of yourself and inspiring others. The most important thing I discovered was why I do what I do, and it's because I believe there's a strongest version of you. And my mission is to uncover the strongest version of myself, but not for me, so that I can inspire you to uncover the strongest version of yourself. It is my conviction that as you grow stronger, everyone else will grow stronger, and it's like a domino effect of everyone getting stronger. I do have two selfish motives though. The first one is a giant fuck you to all the people who told me I was stupid and that I would never make anything of myself. And the second one is to build up all the kids that were told that they're not good enough. You are strong enough. You can do it. I'm by your side, so let's grow stronger together.